What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another Transformers review, and today we're taking a look at the MP-10 Cross Ghostbusters Optimus Prime, and this is the SDCC 2019 exclusive, and yeah, I was super excited to actually get a hold of one of these, and the truck mode mostly doesn't disappoint. The trailer looks awesome with the extra details here. I love that it's the actual number from the movie and the "We're ready to believe you." This is a little distracting where there was obviously the Autobot logo. I don't know how good that's going to come through. It's not that bad, but you can definitely tell because the white's a different color, I think because it's a painted piece. The truck of Optimus, let's just detach everything here. The truck looks really nice. I do have some weird warping that we'll discuss a little later on, which does cause these panels here to kind of sit a little funky as well. But it really affects robot mode, and you'll see that when we get there. But the truck looks really nice. A lot of chrome going on here on the crotch and stuff. It looks really, really quite slick. The blue for the marker lights, very nice. Of course, you can open this up like you could before, and you could put Spike in there. Now, the odd thing is it doesn't come with a spike, which I think would have been cool if they did a spike, but just kind of made it all in tan and kind of called it a Ghostbuster, maybe. That would have been kind of cool to have one of them to stick in the cab here. And it doesn't come with the Energon axe, which is also strange because in the comic book, Prime uses the Energon axe to fight Ghost Megatron, as far as I've seen. So it's just weird that they didn't include it with this MP-10. The trailer we'll take more of a look at after, but the Proton Pack just kind of sits in the top hole where you can have the little drone piece sticking out. Just has a special thing. It really doesn't clip in there with any meaningfulness, so it will just fall right out. And the lights here on this, it's really hard to tell. I think they're translucent. You can kind of see in there, but I do ultimately wish that it was lighter. It just kind of looks like a blue piece of plastic to me. But I do think it's the same translucent blue as the marker lights and stuff. As far as I can tell, I don't think that it's actually a painted piece. It just happens to look like one. Proton Pack is still the same roof part of the ECTO-1. Just, you know, with this extra little piece so it can plug into Optimus. So yeah, I will say I'm definitely not disappointed with this guy when it comes to the truck mode. I think the truck looks absolutely gorgeous, and I love the paint apps. And it looks great next to the ECTO-1 in my opinion. Also, we're not going to go ahead and do transformations here. If you want to see MP-10, I've reviewed the knockoff, I've reviewed the official. There's plenty of MP-10 reviews of mine that you can look for if you need to see the transformation. So let's just skip right to, well, let's look at some accessories. So let's take a quick look at the Slimer that came with him. As you can see, he's nicely painted, like beautifully painted, except mine has a big piece of paint missing on it, which is really disappointing. Everything else is fine, but of course right on the front, big piece of paint. Why couldn't it have been on the bottom? Just for comparison, here's the one that comes with Ectotron. Exactly the same mold, just the details painted. Like, what a big difference. Of course you have Roller. Roller is done beautifully as a trap. These don't open. I wish they did, but they don't. The red light on Roller looks surprisingly good for the trap there. I like how they did it. Beautiful paint details on the trap. Of course you can open that up, and then he's just a Ghostbusters Roller. And this, of course, still opens as one might expect. There we go. And you can flip this around so you can put the gun, or you can tow the trailer with him. So later on in the video, you're going to hear me talk about this little piece with the gun and how I don't understand this peg. Originally I thought that maybe it pegged in here somehow to kind of, you know, store it away, but you can't fold that closed. Like, yeah, it's a piece for the gun that allows it to connect to the Proton Pack, but you can take it off so you can still store the gun on Optimus Prime. So this is the best thing I can figure out how to do with it. If you want to put it in truck mode, is just store it in Roller, because I don't think there's any place else for it to go. But whatever, it works. And right on top of Roller, there is the little peg there, so you can have Slimer riding Roller, because he's not really being trapped if the doors aren't open, right? So a quick look at the trailer. Again, because of mold looseness, these doors, they open really easy. They don't really detent in place. It's fine. It's not really an issue, but it's an issue. You can hear, listen. Like, that's definitely a difference in the plastic molding over time. Of course, you got the ramp nicely painted. Stabilizers, as you would expect, come out. We can open this and we reveal the insides of MP10. My understanding is the red was done to kind of be like a containment unit. I'm not going to move it around really. It's fine. You've seen it all before. And you got the hazard striping there. Nice piece. And I do want to point out that if you didn't want to have Optimus with the Proton Pack on the roof, they do have those little pieces here. Except they're black. So yeah, you can still put that up if you don't want the Proton Pack on the roof. And I wanted to take a quick second to point out he does come with his matrix, and it's got a green jewel, and as you would expect, fits right into his chest just fine. So if you want the Ecto-1 to be coming out of the back of the trailer, you do have to remove the Proton Pack. If you have the Proton Pack in place, it's just way too tall for the trailer. So one thing I do want to show off is that this roof mount piece for the Proton Pack, it just pegs in there, and then this is shaped to be received in the back hole where the gun of MP10 goes. So it pegs in just like that. Other than that, everything is the same as you would expect. So here we've got Optimus in his robot mode, and right away you'll see there's one big glaring problem with mine, and that's that his chest doesn't close all the way. You can kind of force it in and push it down and it'll look a little bit better, but really it's not pegging in. And what happened here, if you can see in here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get an angle right there. Perfect. So you see how this top piece right here is kind of flat and it sits flush with this. Then on this side you can see a weird gap here. It's because there's a peg on this piece here that connects to the top, and there's one here too. Well, this side, and it's hard to tell here, this piece here is warped in the process of being molded or put together or something, and this piece here doesn't push back far enough in his chest. If you push on it, you can actually see there's play on the right side here, and there's none on the left side. So it should sit back like that, and as a result, it's just like a few millimeters out, which means that the glass on the windshield here ends up bumping into the chrome, and that's as close as it's going to get. So that's disappointing. I'm hoping that I'll get a replacement, hopefully a whole prime. Maybe yours won't have this problem, but it's disappointing nonetheless. Color scheme, this red and white color scheme looks awesome. I do kind of wish the prime head was a different color, even the legs, but it still works. It still looks really nice. The blue lights really look good. Coming around to the back, you can see we used the top piece of the trailer to secure the Proton Pack to prime. Now it is still the same Proton Pack that we had with our Ectotron, with a few exceptions, which I don't understand, okay? So they gave us this new hose. It's a little bit more angled than the gold one that's on Ectotron. Let's plug that back in here. But they didn't replace this hose, which is a problem because you almost can't have Prime hold this thing because it's not really long enough. Now it is just the MP10 gun here. Let's take that off and we can take a look at it. And I just noticed the fingers are like a different color than the rest of the hand, kind of like he's wearing gloves. Interesting. Never noticed that. So this is still the same thing that you'll see on Ectotron. I will say, give them credit that they did put some extra details. Someone picked up some red and blue and actually made the lights on the Cyclotron. I don't really know why this is blue. It's just a brace. Maybe there's a sticker there. I can't remember. Some of the wires here, these wires would have been nice if they did multiple colors, but at least red's better than nothing. And then like the caution sticker on there is red. Now it is pretty small on the back of Prime. I do wish maybe it was like a bigger Proton Pack, but I mean they're not going to go and make two different transforming Proton Packs. So looking at the gun here, like I said, it's MP10's gun, and it's got this extra little bit here. So if you take this off, it's just standard MP10 gun, so it can fit into the back of Optimus. And for whatever reason, I can't get it. There we go. Yeah, so it fits right in the back of Optimus. So they give you this extra little bit so you can plug in this part of the Proton Pack, which is great, except that they give you this peg here, which I don't really understand. They give you this tiny little peg here, which is obviously for the hose, and it creates one big glaring problem with Optimus for me. So let's put this back just like this, and you see how it basically pegs into the screw holes here, and then you just kind of slightly bring this around. So one thing that's a big Ghostbusters thing to me, and the hose is not really long enough to facilitate this, but you can hang your Proton Pack, or the wand, off the Proton Pack. And they gave us this adapter, and they just left no way for us to do it. They gave us this peg. I don't know why you would want this peg. I'm trying to figure out what the purpose of the peg is. If you know what the purpose is, let me know, because I don't see it. But yeah, you can't hang this on here. For example, here's Ectotron, and they do give us the little peg, and the wand pegs right into the back of the Proton Pack. But you can't do that with Optimus, so Optimus always has to be carrying his gun. So I know it's going to be somewhat hard to see, but you can see that the gold pipe plugs into the same place as the gray one. But then look at the end bits here. This one here does have a slight angle on it, and this one has an extreme angle on it. I assume that they're the same piece of material, but they heat treated this one or something to actually get it to bend like that. But it's just weird that there was any more extra processing and that went on with this piece over the original release, and then not have any change to this. So here he is next to Ectotron, and I gotta say, they make a nice looking pair, but it is very apparent when he's sitting there that without any paint in his eyes, he just looks very, very dead. I don't know why you make a light piped figure with no light piping access to it. It just doesn't make sense. But that's what he is, right? So they look good together. You'll notice that the cable for the Proton Pack has to go through this side. You can't bring it around the other side of his arm. It's just because it's too short. You couldn't even, you can't even really bring it across his body to look kind of like a neutrino wand. And big problem here is this finger. Any kind of movement just pops it off. And I know it's an MP10 problem, but I've never had the finger pop off on MP10 more than I have with this mold. And it's probably because this mold's been used to death. I mean, it's probably shot. It's weird because I'm sure it's a higher quality mold than the combiner where its hotspot got, which is why this guy is super floppy and loose. But it just won't stand. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the chest problems here, all that stuff is a result of this mold being used 110 times at this point. So I think the thing that's just heartbreaking to me is just like how beautiful of a piece this is, all the paint work, just how pretty the red goes with the chrome, the white. It's very, very stunning piece. And it was supposed to be my send-off for MP10. Like, this is supposed to be the last MP10 I'm buying because it crosses with my favorite property outside of Transformers, and that's Ghostbusters. And to have, like, the little issues with the chest here, which hopefully is relegated to mine. And then, I didn't show this, but, like, this is the loosest MP10 head I've ever seen. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out a challenge here for a third-party company, or even Hasbro themselves. I would like to see you go ahead and make a little clip that connects to this, and it connects to the Inferno mold, and make another Proton Pack. You could make, a Proton Pack that you could clip into the existing system like this. That would be nice. And make it a third-party piece, because I would like to see some transforming Proton Packs, maybe with some lights in them, if you could make that happen. That would be awesome. It's probably a big ticket, I know that, but You know, we can hope, right? And it'd be really cool to take this Sideswipe mold, give him a Proton Pack, take the Art Fire version of Inferno, put a Proton Pack on him, and boom, 4 Transformers with Proton Packs. And I think that'd be awesome. But that's just me being wishful thinking, right? So, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.